Covering the islands of the Bahamas, ZNS Network presents The Bahamas Tonight.
This portion of the news is brought to you by McDonald's. McDonald's, I'm loving it.
Good evening and welcome to the Bahamas Tonight. I'm Giovanni Stewart. Thanks as always for joining us. After almost 1 year of oftentimes contentious negotiations, the government today signed a contract with the Bahamas Union of Teachers, paving the way for increased benefits for the nation's educators. It's been 10 intense months in the making, but the government and the Bahamas Union of Teachers making its latest industrial agreement official on Wednesday afternoon. Education Minister Desmond Bannister says the 3-year agreement that is retroactive to 2010 is good for all sides and falls in line with international standards. The historic component being the health insurance coverage to be picked up for the first time in the union's 65-year history by the government.
This contract contains the government's commitment to pay 80% of a group health insurance premium for members of the BUT, while each individual will pay only 20%.
The government will pump some $13 million into insurance premiums for teachers, and though she'd hoped for 100% coverage, BUT President Belinda Wilson says it was an acceptable compromise for now.
A lot of times, if you do not have coverage, then you worry about how is it, first of all, you're sick, and then secondly, you worry about how is it that I'm going to pay the bill. So we are very, very pleased.
The Education Minister says another key line item of this new agreement is the committee that will review teaching standards.
This provision will support the development of mechanisms to ensure the continuous improvement of our public school system. This is of mutual interest to both parties who desire to preserve, promote, and improve the industrial and economic relationships, as well as safety for our teachers, efficiency, and productivity in our education system.
We're going to look at the revision and review of the Teaching Service Commission, the National Teaching Council versus the Public Service Commission. We're going to also look at the teacher's career part.
Both sides giving credit to the lead negotiator for her role in helping to reach an agreement. Deputy Director of Legal Affairs in the Attorney General's Office, Albertha Bartlett.
We worked together very well because we had one common purpose, and that was to ensure that the children of this country got the best out of this deal.
While yesterday was an exciting one for more than 100 candidates who presented themselves in a bid to become your representative for the next 5 years, today officials from the Parliamentary Registration Department are hard at work, preparing for the next big event in advance of the May 7th general elections. That is early voting. Our Janaea Noel Ferguson spoke with the Parliamentary Commissioner.
A total of 133 candidates have officially been nominated for the May 7th general election, and according to Parliamentary Commissioner Errol Bethel, they will be gazetted by Thursday. The department is now preparing for advance polls set for May 1st. Bethel said that already some 200-plus persons, not including those armed forces and diplomats, have applied to participate.
We are hoping that the number doesn't climb too high because we're not looking forward to having 2 election days. But we will try to accommodate persons in that particular category.
The deadline nationally to apply to participate in the advance polling will be in the coming days, but Bethel says all applications might not be accepted.
One of the things we're finding out is that even though we have the advance poll provision there for them, some people cannot benefit from it, because of the fact that, the times when they leave and the times when they return, they still can't benefit. But there's that provision now to accommodate some people who may be traveling or some people who may be sick and have to go in the hospital or things of that nature.
Bethel also confirmed that those international observers are already in the Bahamas collecting information.
Some people are here because you remember that the American Embassy, they're one of the groups invited, and a lot of those people who will be on that team are people who are here in the country. And of course the other major group, which is the OAS, is coming in I don't know, in just about 2 weeks' time, I think. And CARICOM is also coming in.
While pleased with how nomination day panned out, Bethel says now the focus is on May 7th, 2012.
We are making preparations so that when the time comes, everything will be in order and in place so we can have a smooth day.
Janae Noel Ferguson, ZNS News.
Decision 2012 is just 18 days away, with more than 172,000 Bahamians registered to vote on May 7th. With passions rising each day, it appears some idle residents are resorting to vandalism of election posters. LaDon Davis investigates.
It's no secret that election fever is in the air, and if you've been driving or walking along the streets of the capital, you can't help but notice that a large number of election posters have apparently been maliciously torn, ripped, splattered, or blocked by vandals. Some of the victims, like F&M candidate for Fort Charlotte, Chavango Lang, says it's rather unfortunate that some people are resorting to vicious behavior.
But maybe those are frustrated supporters of others who don't like the fact that we are making a lot of progress and receiving a great deal of success in our efforts to convince the public, the voters, that the Free National Movement is the way to go.
Refuting that, PLP candidate for Pinewood, Kalis Roll, claims his posters have not only been torn down but covered and replaced. But while he is concerned about the needs of all Bahamians, he says his team was given a list of rules to follow while out on the field.
I issued a code of conduct to everyone that's working on my campaign, and I made them sign it. These are the things that we're going to do. You won't hear me talk negative about my opponents. You won't hear me you won't see me do anything that is not acceptable. I want everything I say and everything I do, my mother, when she watches the TV, she is comfortable with. We need to focus on the issues that are important to people. This silliness has to stop.
Meantime, Mr. Lang calls on all those destroying campaign posters to stop because it's a crime.
It's against the law. We cannot and should not tear down other people's paraphernalia. I mean, it's at the very least, the paraphernalia is the property of somebody else. You destroy it, you're destroying somebody else's property. So it is a crime. But, that's where some people are, and that's what it's in their heads and in their minds, and it's unfortunate. I always encourage my supporters. I am not interested in that. Tearing down anybody's sign isn't going to get me one single vote.
Now, members of all political parties are strongly encouraging Bahamians, no matter what party they support, to play it clean and or safe during and after the upcoming general elections. LaDon Davis, ZNS News.
The Democratic National Alliance holding a march against crime and violence in Rawson Square today. The focus of the march, according to DNA leader Branville McCartney, is to bring attention to the crime situation in the country, including the rising murder rate and other heinous crimes like rape and assault. Party supporters marched from Arawak Key to Rawson Square, where Mr. McCartney, along with DNA attorneys Wayne Monroe and Rod Monker, addressed issues of concern. Among them, the need to introduce a Marco Archer's law in the wake of the brutal abduction and murder of 12-year-old Marco Archer last year. According to Mr. Monroe, the law would deal with establishing a sexual offenders register in order to protect children. Mr. McCartney also focused on hanging, noting that the death penalty needs to be enforced. A potentially volatile situation this afternoon in the historic community of Baintown averted. This is Prime Minister the Right Honorable Hubert Ingram attempted to make good on a promise to conduct a walkabout in Overhill communities. But before the Prime Minister made his way to Baintown, an historically bedrock constituency of the Progressive Liberal Party, a number of PLPs, along with their MP Bernard Nottage, assembled in large numbers. Police were also on hand to keep order. This went on as Mr. Nottage met with the National Security Minister Tommy Turnquest and tried to reach an agreement to keep PLP and F&M supporters from meeting in the streets. Later, Mr. Nottage addressed a large number of PLP supporters clad in their gold T-shirts on what he discussed with the police and Mr. Turnquest.
Chosen public leader announced that he's coming in the constituency to do whatever he's coming to do. We want to see what he come to do.
He just walking through. No problem. I mean, if y'all can stay here, you'll go elsewhere.
Yeah, but we do intend to stay.
Yeah, but what we don't want, something that we can't control.
Neither do we.
And the only way that we can control The only way we can make sure that we control it is that we don't have our supporters clashing.
We ain't come for no clash.
No, I understand that.
We're peaceful.
I understand that. And so are we. But if we can avoid that kind of conflict where persons are talking to one another, we ought to avoid it.
I brought all these people here. I can't tell them to go.
So you'll stay here.
I can't tell them to go.
So you'll stay here.
We've tried. They don't want to leave.
No, that's fine. We'll take it. All I'm saying, we don't have to come to the same road at the same time. The same way we don't have rallies on the same bag at the same time for obvious reasons.
Later, Mr. Nottage addressed a large number of PLP supporters clad in gold T-shirts on what he discussed with the police and Mr. Turnquest.
Police officer indicated to me that they were concerned that there might be some confrontation. I assured him that you would not confront anybody, that we were here for a peaceful demonstration. Yes, sir. I am satisfied that you have demonstrated that so far. Yes, sir. Also, I had to tell him that this is a free and democratic country, that you are Bahamians who are entitled to demonstrate peacefully, and you have done so.
Of course, we'll have more on this story in the Bahamas Tonight tomorrow. Still to come in the Bahamas Tonight, customs and immigration officers return to work after almost 2 weeks off the job. That and more when we return.